Oni here. This is our beginner build for our Drecko Ranches. So I put this together. This is a starter type. This is not really an ideal or optimized version of this, but I wanted to swing it by you guys so you can see exactly what I did and how to think about starting something like this. Now, the very first thing that I did was I made sure there was already some hydrogen in this area. There is a pocket, sort of like, let's see if we can find another pocket, sort of like right here. But it was more like this. It had a mix of chlorine gas and the hydrogen. When you are going, it was like this. It was exactly like this. So when you're going to go build something like this, you want to make sure that you're capturing this hydrogen in the best way that you can, especially early on. Now, later you'll be able to produce hydrogen and it's a little bit easier to manage. But when you're making your first farm, you kind of just want to capture what's there. So in order to do that, what I did was I dug this down and created what is essentially known in the Oni community as a gas lock. So you've probably heard of a liquid lock. Liquid locks are the best, but gas locks are also a very effective means to maintain gases in a certain area. And all it really takes is a little bit of understanding about how gases work in this game. So some gases are heavier, some are lighter. You'll see that this is our gas overlay here. It's just materials overlay and then with gas selected. So you can see our carbon dioxide is very heavy, and that's what's going to be at the bottom. Right above that is our chlorine. So that's less heavy than the carbon dioxide. And then after that, it is the polluted oxygen. So you'll see in areas, polluted oxygen will sit right above the carbon dioxide. If chlorine was in here, there would be a layer of chlorine right here. And the gases are active, always moving. This polluted oxygen should be down here. So I'm sure it's just making its way down there. Okay, so and then after oxygen, obviously the highest is hydrogen gas. And this is so light that if I were to open this up, it would just go all the way up here. Let's see, I have an error for this. It's probably because I'm running out of algae, and I think we're going to need to open up a new means to create oxygen, but that'll be at a later time. Okay, so what exactly is this all doing? Well, you create this big chamber here, and then you have a bottom entry for your dupes. So that way this hydrogen has no means to escape, because this will fluctuate. So if this chlorine gets depleted, or if this carbon dioxide starts to get depleted for some reason, this hydrogen will slowly creep down, and you don't want it coming down to here, because then you'll start to have some problems. So what you really want to make sure of is that you are creating, if you're going to do a gas lock, know that it will fluctuate, and this is just a temporary means. A liquid lock is almost always better, especially if you're using oil. That's my preference. So that way, if your base for some reason gets a bunch of steam in it, it doesn't destroy the liquid lock, and you have to manage all the gases in here. So this is starting to get a little bit more complex of a build than just the hatches, but these are necessary guys to get, because they give you plastic, and they also give you fiber, reed fiber, which is great for clothing production, as well as hanging paintings up, which is what we're going to put up here. Okay, so that's just a general idea of what's going on. Okay, so there are some problems with this. I'm going to walk you through everything. Right now, it's not currently breathable. I have the start of an oxygen mask dock, which you're going to probably want in your early builds, or probably in all builds for these guys, unless you have what I like to do is put in a more optimized build. This is all oxygen right here, and the mealwood is in the oxygen. And when your dupes enter, they are only in this oxygenated area. And then above it is all the hydrogen. So that way your dupes can do all of their duties. And that way the Dreckos are in the hydrogen area when they crawl up these spots here. So the reason you need hydrogen, I don't think I talked about this, but right here, their backsides are covered in thick woolly fibers that will only grow in hydrogen climates. So in order to get the plastic or the any of the extra bonuses, you got to make sure that they can be harvested by them being in the hydrogen area, and you harvest them with this shearing station. They're like little creepy sheep essentially. And then you also need your grooming station too, just like you do for these guys to maintain that. Okay, moving on. So your breathability is going to be poor when you first make one of these, but in the future, you need to think about having this nice oxygen layer so your dupes can just simply be in here easily. And your mealwood can be in there too. Okay, so here is the first problem. So I built this in a hotter area just in order to capture the hydrogen. So I will need to start cooling it in order for this mealwood to grow. It's currently not growing because it is above the 30 degree Celsius requirement. So I opened this up in hoping that this could help balance out this heat. And I blocked all this off so in an attempt to help with that, but it's not really gonna work. Luckily we have some stuff here, or I could throw some ice on here at some point in order to better control that. So that's also something to think about. If you're capturing heat in a certain area, if you're capturing these guys in a certain area, the heat normally is going to be too hot for mealwood to grow. But if you have plans like I do to mitigate that and to bring it back down to a cooler environment, then you can easily get your plastic, your glossy Dreckos to get your what is essentially like free plastic. It's not entirely free. Okay, so lights, we don't have any lights going here. We probably will in the future, maybe. I tend to not do lights near hatch ranches anyways. Okay. All right. Plumbing. We don't have any plumbing. These are all going to be hand managed, these mealwoods. So they're just the rancher or whoever will get water here, bring it over here. Later, we'll plant these naturally, which is the best way to do it. And I think we'll probably need one or two more in order for this to be truly effective, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Okay. Decor. Haven't gotten that far, but ideally we would have good decor for this area, at least for these dupes. No need to worry about germs here. Farming overlay, you can see we have body temperature problems with this mealwood, but that will be solved at a later time. This guy's fine. He will not produce more eggs, but he will produce eggs in order to, maintain his existence. He is still currently wild, so we are still in progress of fixing that. Okay, stable. So 96 tiles is your room size that you want for these. There is a max. I believe it's 6 for each of these. I think 6 is the max for 96, and there is a yeah, so they need 12. Yeah, space required. So they need 12 space for each critter. So 6 times 12 is 96 tiles. So you can have 6 per ranch is your goal there. Okay. Exosuits. So I mentioned this, but having an oxygen mask for now until I can get a stronger build here for the oxygen is necessary. I don't have any automation. At some point we'll put an egg thing. For these guys, I like to share the egg room between or at least have them like sort of attached, because these guys are a little bit more flexible. Like sometimes if they're eating the mealwood, like it's not always going to be a glossy, it's not always going to be a Drecko. It's not quite as clean as it is with hatches, though with hatches it's not 100% either. But let's see, where is that spot? So, you just want to think about, oh yeah, see, like this is just a little bit more, quite a bit. So percentage wise. So I like to have like, oh, these go in here, and they're sort of connected in a little slit in between. So then I'll have both Drecko ranches right next to each other in order to manage all this stuff. So there he is getting called down. Bonnie, our rancher, doing a great job. Now you can see her oxygen. This is a problem. So when you have 6, she's going to want to come and do pretty much all of them. And she'll run out of oxygen and have to run back. So you want to avoid that entirely. And you can do that with this oxygen mask. And you can also do it by just make sure, hey, has oxygen in it. And some, you know, like if you're doing a balm lily build for these guys, because that's the other thing that they eat, a pinch of pepper plants and balm lily, that'll be a chlorine based thing. But if it's pinch of pepper plants, these hang from the bottom in the hydrogen, so you could still have that oxygen layer and they would just be up top. Okay, what else? So the Dreckos are really excellent, and we will build that egg overlay. I talked about that, and that will be very similar to this, except for them to exit, it'll still close like this, but it'll be on a delay, so that way they don't get stuck in there. Anyways, that's the build, and definitely start harvesting these guys in your base. They're excellent. This to me is the simplest way you can get there, and creating this boxiness so it can be auto sweep managed with your eggs is always my go-to. You could have it be longer, but the issue with that is your Dreckos need to be up here in order to get this hydrogen gas. So having it a little bit taller and doing a 9x11 is more ideal in my opinion. So anyways, that's all. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.